Hi, I'm Ann Barshall. I live in Westchester County, New York. I was diagnosed with stage 3C ovarian cancer in November of 2013. I went through surgery. I have a YouTube video that I made at that time, which I'm going to send you a link to by email, because I had to drop out of a sketch writing course that I was taking with Armando Diaz. And one of the things that we were doing in the sketch writing course was learning how to write rants. And so I made a rant while going through the process of surgery, and I posted it on YouTube. And that was part of the class, because the class was going on while I was having the surgery, and I couldn't show up for the last two classes, but I did send a link to my YouTube video. And I did go through 4 months of chemo at Sloan Kettering here in Westchester, and it turned out to be not as bad as I feared. The nausea was well managed. I kept taking my musical improv course and working on my writing and so forth. And my main long-term consequences are I still have a chemo port, because I've been afraid that if I took it out, the cancer would recur and I would need the port, like by Murphy's Law, right? I'm currently in remission. Unfortunately, the 3-year survival rate for stage 3C ovarian cancer is only 35%. So recurrence is likely, and that's a scary thing for me. But right now I'm okay. And I still have some numbness in my toes because chemo is neurotoxic. I'm really glad I was doing musical improv while I was in chemo, because it turns out that performing music is the best exercise for your brain. So I think that was really working for me in terms of not having the chemo damage me as much as it might have otherwise. And I did a lot of exercise while I was in chemo and kept myself in shape, and I think that's good, because the research is finding that doing exercise while you're in chemo is good for you, even though you feel tired. And I really did do a lot of exercise, a lot of walking, yoga, weightlifting, whatever. So, which is what I normally do. And I even walked more than usual because I was afraid to go into the subway. My younger son, was my primary caregiver. He lifted things for me after surgery. He cleaned the bird cage and did the trash, which were things I couldn't do in chemo because your immune system is compromised in chemo. I did have one 6-week period in chemo where I had laryngitis, which was really upsetting for me as a singer, because my immune system was compromised, and also my digestion was messed up by the chemo. Even though I wasn't nauseous, my GERD was a lot worse, and that affected my voice. But right now I'm okay. So I'm not quite sure what all you want to know, but that's a brief summary. While I was in chemo, I had some chemo headshots done. I hoped that when I was bald, I might be able to book some horror gigs. It didn't happen then, but it might still happen, because I took this really cool horror shot. And here's another headshot I did when I was in chemo with a headscarf. This was my smiley. I also got a wig, but it really never fit very well, and it was not very comfortable, so I didn't use it. I mostly use scarves and hats. And you'll notice I'm wearing a pendant, which is a memorial to a friend of mine who died of another cause.